Depending on how you count it, we've been in this state of coronavirus-induced suspended animation for 165 days. 165 days ago, Trinity's interim minister had just arrived. We were making plans for the spring music festival. We had just put up a poster for Lent with what turned out to be a painfully perfect theme, Into the Wilderness. That poster is still up there, by the way. 165 days ago, we experienced an interruption. Maybe you remember the scripture text from 2 weeks ago, Matthew chapter 15, the story of the Canaanite woman where Jesus and his disciples are going about their business when they are suddenly interrupted by this woman begging for healing for her daughter. Jesus tries to brush her off, but she won't get out of his way. She won't take no for an answer. It's an interruption in an important sense. This Canaanite woman interrupts Jesus' worldview. Jesus has a vision, a mission to tend to the lost sheep of Israel. That's what he says here. This woman is not one of those sheep. She's not a part of his tribe, so she's not his concern. But she insists that the grace of God is bigger than the house of Israel, that there's enough even for Canaanite women and their daughters. Jesus' worldview is being challenged, interrupted. But what's amazing to me, instead of resisting, fighting back, becoming defensive, Jesus accepts the interruption. He allows this woman to expand his vision, expand his worldview. She's right. Of course she's right. There is more than enough grace to go around. Jesus allows himself to be changed by the interruption. Maybe life is about what we do with the interruptions. Interruptions are always unsettling, but when they challenge the way we see the world, it's so easy for us to become defensive, smaller, angrier. Doesn't it seem like that's what goes on in our politics? People defending their worldviews from being interrupted, reacting defensively rather than being willing to expand, become more open, more compassionate. Of course, this coronavirus interruption has revealed so many difficult truths about our society, about access to health care and support for public health, about how we care or don't care for our neighbors, about the racial injustice that stalks our streets. How do we react to these challenges, these interruptions? It happens in our churches too, where we feel challenged by the way the world is interrupting how we've always done things. Do we react with anxiety, holding ever more tightly to our ways, or do we allow ourselves to be stretched, to become larger, to become something new? Jesus shows us it's possible to turn an interruption into an occasion of grace. Instead of driving this woman away or making her fit within his worldview, he expanded his worldview to include the interruption. His vision became more gracious because of her. So that's my prayer for all of us, that we will allow the interruption of these days to broaden our vision, to expand our worldview, to make us more open and more compassionate. May it be a gracious interruption.